And we are rolling on Comm 103 on December 8th, the day after December 7th. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. And today we're going to hear an impromptu speech from a quote from Immanuel Kant, who said or observed, "Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life." I repeat, science is organized knowledge, but wisdom is an organized life.
Hi folks, my name is Guilherme.
Hi Guilherme.
I'm here today to tell you that evil does not have an ugly face. Despite what you think Hollywood has taught you, evil doesn't present itself in the form of a short, angry man and his pet cat that want to take over the world for no apparent reason and kill everyone who gets in their way. I'm going to tell you that evil starts with an idea, and the idea itself is never really brash. The idea starts as a what-if statement, something quiet that creeps into your ear. But soon that idea grows because it finds out that there are others like it out there. And it grows by feeding itself from the conversations of mankind. And that's what I want to talk about is also related to this quote. Immanuel Kant once said, science is organized wisdom. That science is organized knowledge. But wisdom is organized life. Now, I'd like to argue today that this quote is entirely false, because I will argue that wisdom, to really be earned, comes from a very unorganized life. I will show you this by using 3 examples from history. The first is the all too often referenced Holocaust that occurred in Germany during World War II. The second is the slavery that occurred in the United States before the Emancipation Proclamation. And the third is the Civil Rights Movement that also occurred in the United States. With these three examples, I will show you that wisdom has a dark past. And that dark past, unfortunately, involves a lot of evil ideas. So the first example from history that I would like to use is the Holocaust that occurred during World War II. Now, Adolf Hitler was able to control an entire nation and convince them that a small idea, a simple what-if statement, could become a reality and could push people to do inhumane things, crimes against humanity that we still reference to this day. It's kind of unfathomable when we talk about it. The reason the Holocaust is so referenced today is because it is a symbol of pure evil. But I'd like to argue that we're wiser today because of the Holocaust. Today, we have so many arguments for why humanity needs to come together, why world peace is something to strive for. And to get there, we've had to have dark times in our past. The Holocaust provided this. So that's why I once again argue, wisdom does not come from an organized life. Wisdom brings with it much turmoil. The second example that I would like to use is slavery in the United States and the dark history that we all know. Now, slaves were considered by the early colonists to be inferior human beings. That is how we justified the horrible acts that we committed. We truly believed that they were inferior. And from this great ignorance, I'd like to argue that today we are wiser because of it. What's currently going on in our country with protests and different movements, that Black Lives Matter, this is just a stepping stone from a very tumultuous time that we've been through. I'd like to argue that slavery was something that has made us wiser today. Now, the third example that I would like to use is the civil rights movement in our nation. Now, this carries with it a bit of history from slavery, of course, but the argument here is, once again, wisdom does not come from an organized life. We've had to have turmoil along the way. Now, even when human beings woke up and realized what was going on and the great ignorance that we had held, there were still those who chose to oppose it. So we unleashed attack dogs and we released fire hoses and committed horrible acts. And we were ignorant. We chose ignorance once again. But I'd like to argue that the civil rights movement was merely a stepping stone for the greater wisdom that we stand in today. And it's a wisdom of, once again, world peace and loving mankind. Now, in summary, I have given you 3 examples from history of why the quote from Immanuel Kant, "Science is organized knowledge, wisdom is organized life," is completely false. Wisdom does not come from an organized life, and although it can be argued that science is an organized form of knowledge, wisdom must come from a tumultuous past, and scars must be created so that we may remember the mistakes that we've made, and that is how we learn from them. There should be no doubt in this room that wisdom is something that is painful to acquire, but it is invaluable once we have it. So let us remember, evil never starts as something grand, as a grand idea to end the world or end a race. It always starts as a little bit of ignorance, a small belief that grows into a horrific idea. Let us learn from our past mistakes, and let us not let these ideas take us over. Let us look at the scars we've had as a people and work to make the world a better place. Thank you.
6:56. What'd you like?
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Although I'm not in your class, so I don't know exactly what your guys' goals for the speech were, I thought you did a nice job in delivering your points and being very clear about what your message was, as well as passionate in the examples that you used to support those.
Thank you.
Improvement?
Hey, I'm Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's see. Well, I mean, overall, it was really convincing, and you're a very confident speaker. So, really, I can't think of anything to improve on too much. I guess the one thing I would say is just to kind of engage us more. Maybe give us some more examples and ways to relate to it that are more recent and modern. So I kind of like put that in context of my own life. But other than that, yeah, other than that, it was just really confidently done, and it was a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, you took the position that Immanuel Kant was mistaken in his observation, which was your choice. You could either agree or disagree, and you chose to disagree. Where I think you could have had some more precision in your conceptual analysis initially would be to tell us a little bit more about what you meant by science and what you meant by knowledge and what you meant by wisdom. Because you just assumed we all know what wisdom is, and you used it in kind of a couple of different ways throughout your speech, and I think that shifting meaning suffered. There's no question this was a smooth, delivered speech and well argued as far as it goes. your Holocaust, World War II example of unorganized chaos is, sometimes leads to wisdom, I guess was your point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I meant is, and the argument of wisdom is just, you're never going to learn anything without making mistakes, and sometimes the cost of those mistakes is really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think Kant meant by wisdom?
I think that's the thing. I'm not sure. I always take wisdom to be life experience. You sit down with your grandpa, and your grandpa tells you, no, hold your tongue, and you'll, don't act on anger. Always
deeper
cool
truths.
Off and
deeper truths, right? Yeah. Okay. I agree with the comment that your historical examples were consistent with your argument, but it would have been nice to have more contemporary. You did make your arguments consistent, and that was good. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine, and you used your full time. What were your goals this time?
They were to be off notes. Finally did it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be more convincing. I really flubbed up. I had more things prepared, and just the examples went out the window.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was as convincing as I would have liked to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to be passionate. I don't think I was as passionate as I could have been.
Okay.
And I wanted to walk on my points, which I did. So.
Yeah. Okay, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, I have a 9 o'clock scoring exam from 9 to 9:30, so we can probably get one more in before I have to go. Would that be you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's rock and roll. So
Okay.
you'll have a little break. You can get to know this Comm 1 individual.
All right.
Hang on a second.
Round 1, speaker 3.
Round 1, speaker 3. Round 1, speaker 3. Charlie Rock. Charlie Rocks. Okay, Charlie Rocks. Oh my blank. Speaker 3. Yes, okay. Charlie Rock is about to deliver an extemporaneous speech on the question, on the statement, we do not remember days, we remember moments. I repeat, we do not remember days, we remember moments.
Hello everyone, my name is Charlie Rock, and today I'm here to talk about the statement, we do not remember days, we remember moments. It was said by Cesare Pavese. Now I want to start out with a quote from a great philosopher, and it goes, our life is not measured by the amount of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. This philosopher's name was Will Smith, from the movie Hitch. And what I think this quote means is that the most important things to us are the things that we remember because they're so emotional and they're so important to us. And they're not just the things that flutter by on a day-to-day basis. And that means that our days are defined by the moments that are influential. So I want you to think back on some of your fondest and some of your earliest memories. Maybe it was the first time you saw Star Wars, or it was the first sporting event you ever went to, or maybe you went to Disneyland. Chances are you don't remember what day of the week that was, or what month it was, or even what year it was, but somehow you still vividly remembered that exact moment because of what it meant to you. So I want to talk about how we, in this classroom right now, can draw upon this idea of moments and how we can go back to things in time travel almost just because of how important things are to us. I want to take that example, and I want to take a personal example, then I also want to look at this in a historical context. And I want to see, and I want to prove, that we remember moments, not days, based on the emotion of that exact moment. So, first, I want to start out with all of us right here today. Now, chances are, in 5 years, you're not going to remember this exact moment unless something absolutely crazy happens. I mean, best case scenario, you go back on this day and you remember how kick-ass of a job you did on your speech, or alternatively, how poorly you did on the speech. Chances are, if you did really bad on the speech, you might actually remember it better, because that'll draw up that emotion. Like, getting all scientific, like, that'll go into your amygdala, and like that's like what the hypothalamus is, and like, I forget that, actually. We'll just stay away from the science. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that... Stop. Unless something absolutely crazy happens in this classroom, you won't be able to really recall it in 5 years. Unless you get up and take off all your clothes and start screaming around, there's just no way that you'll ever be able to recall this. So, what I'm trying to say is that emotion is what really drives back our memory. So, moving on to a personal example. This is kind of a smooth transition into a moment that I'll always remember because it's one of my most embarrassing moments. That's a commonly asked question. What's your most embarrassing moment? So for me, it was when I was younger. I don't know exactly how old because, as I said, you don't remember the day, you just remember the moment. I was on the schoolyard, and I was a smaller fellow, but I was scrappy. And I had gotten into a fight with the older guys, and one thing led to another, and I was hanging by my underwear on the flagpole, a nice 10 feet up in the air. It felt like I was flying. It was so embarrassing, yet so majestic at the same time. And I'll never forget this moment because it was just so embarrassing. And then the worst part was when they let me down, like the hook of the flagpole was attached to my underwear, and my underwear like ripped, and my belt ripped too. So I was walking into my classroom, and I was just continuously trying to keep my pants up for the rest of the day. And so really that embarrassing moment kind of continued from like 2 p.m. all the way to like 4 p.m. So that's why I really remember it. So, again, back to my original point, is that the reason that I remembered that moment, I don't know how old I was. I might have been 6, I might have been like 13. I honestly don't know. What I do remember is every detail of that exact time because it stood out to me. And from there, I have the context of the day. Now, thirdly, I want to move on to looking at this idea through historical lens. There are certain dates we remember based on the moments that occurred on those dates. April 14th, 1865. Lincoln was assassinated that day. That's history. July 16th, 1969. Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. March 10th, 1994. The day I was born. That's history. That's a big day. You'll see. You'll all see. But what I'm trying to say is that the only reason dates are important to us is because of that emotional moment, whether it was happy or it was sad or it was embarrassing, it was impactful. And that's the reason that we can draw upon that memory. So I want you guys to all think back. This is a more serious note. I want you to think back to where you were on September 11th, 2001. And I want you to try and recall exactly how that morning played out. Chances are, you can remember that extremely vividly because you've never seen anything like that in your life before. You've never seen such a impactful moment. And you could probably remember almost what you had for breakfast that morning, or what time you woke up, what time you got to school, because it's all in context of this historical moment. You could probably remember your mom crying in the living room, turning on the TV, and everything like that, just because it's such a historical day for you, and it's such a historical day in the context of U.S. history. So in summary, I've given you 3 reasons to believe that our lives are measured by moments, not days. You can look at it in a historical context, or you can look at it through an embarrassing moment personally, or you can think about it in context of where you are right now. And in a couple years, if you remember what you're doing right now, based on how emotional and how important it is. There should be no doubt in this room that our memories draw upon the most emotional moments in our life. So, to quote another philosopher, time moves forward, but our memory moves in a totally different direction. I'm not sure who said this one, but I'm pretty sure it was still Will Smith. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 628. What'd you like?
What's up, I'm Kai.
Okay.
Hey, Kai.
Hi.
I really liked the flow of your speech. It was like nice. You didn't really stutter too much, and your examples were very personal. And, I could like see myself like
Getting hung up with that flagpole, maybe?
exactly, maybe something like
It
that.
happens to all of us at some point.
So yeah, thank you.
Improvement.
Hey, really great job, man. Hi, I'm Guilherme.
Hi, Guilherme.
Really great job, great delivery. Literally the only thing I can say is, it kind of takes away credibility and takes away like the I don't know, like when you said, "Hey, stop it," to Kai.
Oh, yeah.
it just
That was bad.
breaks,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
breaks
I just-
I get it, because Kai was laughing too much.
It was funny though. Like,
Yeah, no, that's my fault. I don't know.
But
no, you chill.
Broke the fourth
that's
wall.
literally the only thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no fourth wall, right? Because you're interacting.
That's true. We're talking to each other.
But it kind of breaks the professionalism.
You're right. No, yeah. That was a stutter.
Okay, Charlie, let me get through this quickly
Yeah,
because
sorry.
I have a 9 o'clock appointment at
My
the
fault.
test scoring center. I'm impressed you got no notes down this time, and
Yeah.
you did it extemporaneously. That was very good. I like your beginning quote, and I liked your ending quote, and your sort of the bookends, and that was good. It was appropriate to your quote that you were given, and I think that you were right to agree with the quote. I think that it is true, and you supported it well. You stumbled and stammered a little bit in places, as you'll see tonight when you watch yourself on YouTube. But they were minor, really, and it was very clear. I would have liked you to have seen you develop a little more of the links to the emotion, to the memory connection there. So explain that a little bit more. Your personal example was very vivid. We'll all remember that as we remember stories. So that was good. The historical ones, John F. Kennedy, the day he was shot, I can remember where I was and what I was eating.
Exactly.
So, 9/11, of course, is those stick in the memory bank. Your summary, your conclusion, your tie back were all fine. What were your goals?
Just being off notes, for one.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? I guess not trying to get caught up in one thing and maybe get off topic a little bit. Or
Right.
not trying to use the same words. And I kind of feel like I use some words too often, like the word emotion or the word context. I kind of noticed myself using those a little too much, and I think those are safe words when you're not exactly sure what you're about to say. So I was trying to stray away from that, which is a problem that I had in the past, but I think I did an okay job of that. Maybe it wasn't too noticeable, but I noticed it.
So in terms of our stickiness, I thought that you had a simple message.
Yeah.
I thought that it wasn't too concrete, except when you got into the brain stuff a little bit.
Yeah, and then I just.
So then you backed off, and so
I think that
was
might have
good.
been like a intentional element of humor, maybe.
The flagpole was unexpected.
Unexpected.
The emotion could have been lifted up a little bit more, and but the stories and more stories were what sold the speech. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll take a 30-minute break. Go get some coffee.
Oh, God. That was good. Professor, if we gave our speech, are we clear to go?
Yeah, but you know, these other people need an audience, so it'd be
It's fine.
nice if you stayed.
That's true. I'll stick around.
No, you don't have to stick around. So you're up here to do your speech?
I'm like, yeah, kind of prepared.